Do you ever wish you could just press a little reset button and start fresh, clean slate, ready to go for next year? Well, today you're in luck because we are going to do a 24-hour life reset. Hey, and welcome to Passionfroot, where we pursue lives of purpose together. Do you feel overwhelmed by everything in your life at the moment? If your year has been anything like mine, it's felt like one massive sprint to the finish line, and now you're here and you've got to-do lists and notes in like a billion different notebooks. Your whole life is kind of in a shambles. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but there is definitely something to be said for that end of year kind of blah. I'm going to give you a step-by-step system that has worked for me and I'm sure will work for you about how to reset all the areas of your life, your professional life, your household systems, even your digital clutter, so that you can start next year on the right foot. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The first step is preparation. You need a plan if you're going to organize your whole life in 24 hours, and even then, it might take a little bit longer. That being said, we can mediate the kind of mindless trawling through drawers and remembering the past when it comes to decluttering by time blocking and setting a schedule. So I'm going room by room, bedroom, kitchen, lounge room, office, bathroom, laundry. I have a small house, so this is possible in my 24 hours, but all of the tasks I have to do are basically like organize and then clean, organize and then clean. So all you need is 30 minutes, a notebook or your digital planner, whatever it is, and the hours in your day. And you are going to break that down into the main categories of your life. Now, this could mean splitting it up into the various rooms in your house or the various areas of your life. For example, physical, social, financial, professional, etc. Personally, I like the house rooms method because as you're in those different rooms in your house, all of these other areas of life kind of come into that anyway. For example, in my study is my computer. And on my computer are my calendar and my Notion workspace and all of these random files I need to delete and my hard drives, all of that stuff. So my digital life is contained within my study. In my bedroom, for example, I have all of my clothes. I'm reading in bed or I'm doing my morning routine kind of in my bedroom. Maybe your morning routine and your wardrobe chaos, because let's be honest, most of us have chaos in our wardrobes, are what you target when you're targeting your bedroom area. In my kitchen, yes, I'm looking at organizing my fridge, my pantry, etc., but I'm also looking at meal planning and setting up systems that are gonna work for me. When I'm in my living room, I'm looking at the different chairs I have around. Maybe that causes me to think, hey, who are some people that we want to prioritize inviting over, showing hospitality to? So there are different areas of your life that tend to pertain to rooms, and that can be a really helpful mindset tool for staying on track and getting everything done while you're in those rooms. Because let's be honest, when you're tidying up, when you're organizing things always have to get worse before they get better.
It needs to get worse before it gets better, and it is clearly worse.
So if you can just focus on one room at a time and everything that pertains to that room, for me, it really helps. Another tip I have with this, if you're trying to figure out where on earth to start with this process, follow your energy. So for me, I have the most energy in the mornings because I'm a morning person, whatever, by 9 p.m. I'm done. So for me, it made the most sense to target the most difficult rooms first. But if you're a night owl, you might want to start off simple, kind of work your way up to the bigger stuff later on during the day when your energy is at its highest. So my day started at about 6:30 a.m., got my plan together, got ready for the day, got all of my materials out. So that means like cleaning cloths and sprays, a broom, a vacuum cleaner, a duster. You're gonna need all this stuff. So having that in one area, one location can save so much time because invariably it's like you leave the vacuum cleaner on a shelf and you can't find it and then you're wasting 10 minutes looking for it. You don't need that drama in your life. Now, if you're struggling to get motivated and like you're looking at your day and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so overwhelmed, it can also really help to set your intentions for the day, to literally write out what your goal for the day is and how you're going to feel when you finish this challenge. Now, you've probably heard of this system before, but this is a surefire way to be able to process everything in your life, and that is the 4-bucket rule. So basically, for every room or every area of our lives, we create 4 buckets. We have keep, donate, throw away, and errands. Now, keep in mind the keep bucket doesn't really need to be a bucket. You can just put things back where they came from or find a new place for them. But the other 3 buckets are kind of more literal. So in my lounge room, as I'm throwing out things, as I'm organizing my life, I'm putting things in the throwaway pile into like garbage bags. I'm putting things in the donate pile, which is into kind of boxes. And I'm putting some things in another pile, which is like, okay, I can't use this. I need to take this back to this person, or I need to mend this item in order to use it. Things like that.
This is the pile I'm donating. It's very large.
This is the pile I need to do errands with. And then the pile, which is now gone, was the pile of rubbish, and it was literally about 3 times the size of this. If there's only one thing that you need in order to complete your life transformation in 24 hours, it is this. You need to be ambitious. Now that might sound harsh, or it might even sound a bit silly, but genuinely, if you're getting caught up mentally between which of the books that are identical in your collection that you're going to keep, or if you're getting caught up with like, oh, this journal that I wrote 2 pages in 10 years ago, but the rest of it's blank, am I going to keep it? No. If you really want to keep it, tear out the pages and get rid of it. There are just constantly things that are going to come up that are going to want to derail you, and you're not allowed to let them. Now, whether this means setting a reminder on your phone throughout the day, like every 20 minutes, to be like, hey, are you on task? Hey, are you on task? If you're easily distracted, that could be really helpful. Or if you want to do this challenge with your partner or a friend or someone you live with, that can be really helpful as well, just kind of keeping each other on task. But basically, you need to be so focused that you are going to reset your life in 24 hours. If you have that goal in mind, you are much more likely to achieve it. Step number 2 is obviously to start. There are so many practical tips that I want to share in this video. But in order to do that, I kind of need to move room by room. Now, the first room that I tackled is my bedroom. This was probably the most problematic room. There were like drawers full of random stuff. My wardrobe was a mess. The reason that I chose this room, and this is a really good practical tip, is because my bedroom has the most storage space of any room in my house. We've got under the bed storage, we've got on top of the wardrobe storage, and this is where I wanted to make a bunch of space and rearrange things in order to kind of fit other things in my house into that room. So if you're looking at organizing your space and there is an area in your house that would make a massive impact in terms of space, target that one first. Now, assuming that you're taking a room by room approach, you will know off the top of your head what the problematic areas in those rooms are. Now, there are obviously some common ones. For the bedroom, it tends to be the wardrobe, the bedside tables, under the bed, and like piles of laundry. So if it's helpful for you to create a checklist of each room, absolutely do that. And actually, if you click on our Instagram link in the description, we have created a helpful carousel with all of these problematic areas kind of outlined for you so that you can get started. So once the bedroom was kind of done, then I moved on to the study. Now, there are some obvious problematic areas in your office or study, including piles of paper on your desk, drawers, unorganized stationery, bookshelves, and most importantly, I think for most of us, our digital life. I started by clearing out my emails, clearing out my downloads folder, deleting all of the unnecessary junk from my desktop. There's also social media. And I went through for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I just unfollowed a bunch of people because I was like, well, either they stress me out or I don't get any value from them, or like I don't know them anymore. It feels so good. I also started organizing my hard drives. Now, this honestly is going to be an ongoing process, but this is where another one of my practical tips comes in. As you go throughout this challenge, you will find areas of your life that cannot be done in 24 hours. Like I literally cannot. It would take me like weeks to organize through all of the footage on my hard drives and like organize it perfectly. So if there are really big things that come up like that, take a notebook with you into each of the rooms and make a list of all the things that you need to do later. Sure, it might not be perfect organization in 24 hours, but you will feel in control and you will feel on top of things knowing that you have a list that has everything in your life written on it that you need to address in the coming weeks and months. One good system to use is the 12-month rule. You can do this with your bookshelf, you can do it with your wardrobe, you can do it in any room of your house. But basically the rule is this: I'm gonna keep this item tentatively, but if I haven't used it in the next 12 months, I'm gonna throw it away. You can literally set a calendar reminder at the end of 12 months to throw the thing away. Now, I did this with my bookshelf.
Okay, so we've got art books, these 2 piles, and honestly, I forgot I had some of these, especially this one. Like, oh, it's just stunning. So I'm very excited to delve more into that one. I've also got work related, like I illustrated this book, designed these magazines, like took a course, illustrated all those books. So like I'm keeping them because I worked on them, but I might get rid of some. Then I've got spiritual books, which is I think the biggest pile that I have. And then I've got some self-help kind of stuff as well.
The books above my bed had been bothering me for a long time because I haven't read them. They'd been sitting there for like years and years and years. And I thought, well, some of these are really valuable. The ones that I really do want to read and have best intentions to read and find interesting, etc. Rather than just throwing them out, I'm going to put them on a different shelf, make space there. And if I haven't read them in the next 12 months, then I'll get rid of them. As I was in my office, one of my major goals was to address my lack of personal organization at the moment. Now, if you work from home ever, your office is going to be a place where systems are kind of ingrained in everything that you're doing. And for me, one of the systems that I just didn't have in place was a place to put all of my work-related documents. So I made a quick trip to Officeworks. So I'm just heading off now to get some office storage for all my work documents and stuff, because I really don't have a system for that. And then once that's in, everything else, like that's the linchpin at the moment. Once I pull that, everything else will just fall into place. I know it. Now, again, if you didn't have time to do this during your day, you could easily write a list of all the things that you need and go on a shopping spree the next day. Knowing that you know what you have to do is very helpful. Okay, once I had finished on my office space, it was time to tackle the kitchen. Obviously, people spend a lot of time in the kitchen now. Mine wasn't crazy chaotic, but as in all kitchens, there are problem areas, including the pantry and the fridge. These go without saying. The random junk cupboard / drawer for some people that just kind of sits above the fridge. Another problem area is under the sink. Turns out I had 6 random glass round bowls sitting there. I didn't even know I had them, so they were donated. And what was really, really good about this process, and also why I recommend cleaning your biggest storage area first, is because as I was cleaning out under my bed, I came across containers that I was able to consolidate rather than being in 3 containers into 1 container. And I had spare containers, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with these containers? Well, my friend, if you have spare containers, you will find a way to use them. And I happened to use them in my top cupboard, which was actually so good. Turns out I didn't need to buy any new storage containers. I'm really proud of myself for that. So yeah, start with the most storage-esque area, and you may also have the same situation. Now, one hot tip I have for the kitchen is to clear your bench first. As we know, things have to get worse before they get better when it comes to organizing. So starting with a clear bench space, even if that means just putting all your junk in one corner and having enough space to deal with, is really helpful, because you're going to be taking stuff out of cupboards, wiping down cupboards, putting stuff back in cupboards. You're going to need some space. Now, the kitchen area for me kind of touches on the area of health in my life. And so I was like, okay, the system that I currently have for my multivitamins is not working. So I fixed it. So my shake today has magnesium and colloidal minerals and all kinds of random stuff in it, because I finally tidied my supplement shelf. Now, this was an absolute shambles and nothing made sense before, but now I've got my multivitamin stash in here, which is just a bunch of random stuff. I have my 2 protein powders that I have every day, basically. I've got my daily reach for it container, which basically, has my apple cider vinegar, colloidal minerals, my magnesium powder, my collagen powder, things that I would normally put in a smoothie or take. And then I've organized my pills. So these are just also supplements. And then this is just random stuff that I will sometimes use, coconut oil and whatever. After I tackled my bedroom, my study, and the kitchen, there was obviously going to be a lot of clutter everywhere in the house. I mean, sometimes things have just got to get worse before they get better, I guess. Basically, it had all ended up in the lounge room, and so now it was time to tidy the lounge room. As I was in my lounge room, I thought to myself, okay, the lounge room is the space where I kind of relax, where I read. I put together a TBR list for 2025. Now, a lot of those books are currently sitting on my shelf in the 12-month, if I don't read throughout, pile. Some of the problematic areas often targeted in the living room are the coffee table. You probably also have an entertainment unit. We don't have one because we've got a projector. We don't have any physical DVDs or anything, but if you do, especially because we're in the mid-2020s, and honestly, no one has watched a DVD in the last 10 years, so throw it out. You're allowed. Throw pillows and blankets are another thing. I actually found that one of my pillows had a massive stain on it, so I chucked that in the wash. After the lounge room, I tackled the bathroom, and by this point, it was mid to late afternoon. There are some problem areas in the bathroom, in every bathroom, and they are the drawers. Let's be honest. Who can keep a tidy bathroom drawer? I'm yet to meet a person. And I think the problem with this was that I didn't have a good system. So I got some new bowls and kind of rearranged things, and now things actually fit in their containers, and I'm hoping that that will help me. I also realized, oh my goodness, I have so many expired cosmetics. I never paint my nails. I hate the feeling of it, and I had all this nail polish. So I just chucked it in the bin. I also had a bunch of out-of-date skincare that I threw away. And then the final room that I worked on was the laundry. Now, we don't really have a laundry room per se. We have a little nook. So it's pretty small, That being said though, it is chaotic. The laundry is kind of my dumping ground for all of the stuff I don't know what to do with. Some of the cleaning supplies, some of them were under my kitchen sink and some of them were kind of in my laundry. And so what I did, I consolidated the two. I put everything that wasn't dish related in the laundry, and it just feels so nice knowing that if I ever need a cleaning thing, aside from like detergent, I can go to the laundry. So I tidied up that space, kind of poured different bottles into each other of the same thing so I could save space. Threw away a bunch of like fragranced things. In the last 12 months or so, I've become like very conscious of like the chemical load on my body of specifically fragrances. And so I stopped buying fragrance. What's it called? Laundry powder. Yes, laundry powder. And I started making my own. It went down the drain. The drain was cleaned, win-win. So that was a very brief rundown of my day. I hope some of the tips were helpful for you. But most of all, I hope that this was just motivation for you to kind of get on top of life in 2025, because the last thing you need is your physical space dragging you down. This challenge, I was actually surprised, was doable in 24 hours, first of all, but also taught me the value of things. In my life, I've become very accustomed to just like throwing away things and buying a new one. But I was really conscious. Yes, I told you to be vicious and that is important, but I was really conscious about, okay, if I get rid of this, am I gonna have to buy a new one? And I don't think there's very many things that I threw away where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to buy a new one now. Genuinely, like 95% of the things that I threw out, aside from like consumables and stuff, were things that I know I'm not going to use again, and I know I'm not going to want again to buy. But a lot of it was recycled, a lot of it was donated, and it was all dealt with as responsibly as possible. And I think that brings us to the end. And you now have a step-by-step plan to organize your life in just 24 hours. I hope that this has motivated you and given you a sense of agency and freedom. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, a share, comment below what tips you found interesting and what other tips you've implemented in your own life that have helped you with organization. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on living your best life full of passion and purpose. But until we see each other again, take care, God bless, and let's keep growing together.